Bonjour.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Comment tu vas? Tu vas bien?
Oui.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what we. Then if I go to Monday, they say how.
Ni hao.
The key about the language, when you get the first word, just repeat it.
Oui.
Yeah, how. Ni hao.
How.
Yeah, that's all.
How.
Yeah.
Yesterday, somebody was also teaching me proper Hausa, how to say hello, not the Ghana one,
Okay.
but I forget. Like the Northern Nigeria one. Yeah, Farouk, he told me how you said it's rich, it's thick.
Yeah.
There's something powerful
Yeah,
in it.
that one is more.
But it's a language I really want to learn, Hausa.
Just let them post you to Kano, stay there for 3
Yeah.
years.
My
No, you see, I blame myself because one thing I realized was almost every footballer in this country speaks Hausa,
You see,
and I interact a lot with them. But
I think the problem is, you see, if you live with somebody, like when we were kids, we had Ghana neighbors. That's why I can speak Ghana,
yes.
because you pick it up.
You
Yeah.
pick it up.
So
the environment.
we used to play football with people who speak Hausa, but we didn't live with them.
okay,
So you see, Maoli, he lived in the place.
yeah, that's what Mali. They're
Ah,
proper.
so if the best, sometimes you can go and live there, but you are too old to learn. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. So your kids can learn it, but you can't.
Okay,
You are too old.
I might start steering
I-
them.
Unless
I
okay, you
don't.
can learn it, but
I
it will
think
be
you
more
can.
difficult. Or
But Godfrey, you picked up Mandarin when you traveled.
Yes, but the thing that happened was I picked up Mandarin and almost neglected my Spanish because I had just completed a year of Spanish.
oh, so you mean even at this age you can learn a new language?
Why not? If you are put in an environment, you can learn.
Really?
Yes.
Then go to Kano.
No, you see, because but you are right. You see, because in my Mandarin time as well, I picked up Russian because there were a lot of Russians in my class.
Now you're tripping.
I'm not.
You picked up Russian.
Yeah, because I picked up a lot of bad words.
The language, the language always sounds like Istrokistus. That's all I hear when they speak Russian. Anyway, guys, good morning.
Morning.
Lots to do. Let me just remind you, the City Business Festival is still on. And today we're talking compliance, tax, and very interesting things with Ali Nachia Abdallah.
Oh.
Very interesting conversation.
Solid guy.
Hey, one of the smartest guys I know. It's at 10 minutes past 9. The City Business Festival is brought to you by CDFM, supported by Absa Bank and GIPC. Okay, guys, what's the paper saying?
Front page of the Daily Graphic. Lots of big stories today, Bernard. New dates for exit examinations. WASI August 3, BC September 14. Parents, note these dates down.
August 3, September.
14. Now, ECN's pilot voter registration today, also on the front page. Flogging father pleads guilty.
The Ghanaian Times says reopening of schools for final year students, SHS, JHS to write special, in quote, exams, WAEC to conduct country-specific WASI and BCE.
Okay.
EC begins pilot voter registration exercise in all 16 regional capitals. Police CID grants Bernard Mona 20,000 CD inquiry bail and use death of George Floyd as catalyst to effect changes. President urges US.
Front page of the Daily Statesman, another big headline, Bernard. NPP primaries for June 20.
This June.
It will be butu
This June,
butu.
plenty things will happen.
We like it. By June, the NEC meets today to affirm steering committee decision. Education Ministry to employ over 27,000 pre-tertiary teachers and others. Bernard will give you details of that later in the show.
The Finder says no visits, no religious activities when schools reopen. Dr. Opoku Prempe. EC pilots new voters' registration in all 16 regional capitals. Allowance. Government announces 1,200 for teachers, 600 for non-teaching staff, and Railways Ministry to order about 35 trains to Ghana in June.
Front page of the Daily Guide newspaper, Mona versus police. NDC hijacks bloodshed case. Pay and take your property, CJ to Woyome. And government says it has completed 236 senior high school projects.
Wow.
The Chronicle says propaganda gone bad. Social media roasts Sami Jemfi over cartoon on EC. ICGC Perez Chapel others remain closed despite easing of restrictions.
Front page of the Herald newspaper, senior minister, trade minister and others render Akufo-Addo unpopular among custom officers, importers and clearing agents. John Mahama interacts with a Sujaman constituents. More churches afraid to resume praises and worship after ease of COVID-19 restrictions.
The Ghanaian Observer says NDC gurus rush to register as EC pilots new BVR system. COVID-19 rocks railway sector. Over 70 workers test positive for virus. NDC Sami Jemfi in trouble for using American George Floyd's death for NDC's dirty politics. and government lays out protocols for reopening schools.
A front page of the BNFT. COVID-19 exposes local firms' business continuity plans. Companies prefer to satisfy regulators, not save themselves. No stress testing of plans to see their effectiveness. And in petroleum, bust margin increase. Petroleum products to increase less than 0.5% according to NPA.
The New Crusading Guide says NDC makes U10, participates in pilot voter registration exercise. ASEP responds to Ghana Gas, says GNGC has no capacity to assume role of aggregator in oil gas sector, and Pantine land guards remanded in police custody. Plus, I have not fired my lawyer, Bishop Obinim.
Now the Go Street Business.
The Go Street Business says GSE changes trading rules to tackle stock market volatility. COVID-19 hampers railway construction in Ghana, and importers still facing challenges at Tema Seaport. GRA Ghana Link working to resolve problems.
CityNewsroom.com. Christian Council urges dialogue over new electoral rule. Incompetent Mahama leading NDC into 2020 is pitiful. This is Freddie Blay. Also, Charles Bisu is here. I'm embarrassed over Anas expose, but I'd love to work with IMSIM again. Other stories. ICGC, other churches to continue online service despite ease restrictions. And Bernard Mona says, battle-ready police provoked my supporters, but I prevented clash. CityBusinessNews.com. Put measures in place to tax digital economy. This is tax analyst to GRA. Other stories. Poultry farmers call for concession in disbursement of stimulus package as XLS and Bono incur losses over COVID-19. Other stories. Partnerships key to restarting business. This is Mensa Bar City Business Festival. And dealers in non-food items lament low patronage amid COVID-19. MyJoyOnline.com lead story. Take it down. Sarkodie slams Sami Jemfi over George Floyd voters register cartoon. Also, protect us as we return to classrooms. Nagrat to government. Other stories. MPP leadership meets today to fix date for parliamentary primaries. And COVID-19, 2 recovered siblings lead campaign against stigmatization. Ghana News Agency has all the details of NAPO's press briefing yesterday. Government Institute allowance package for teachers. Education Minister outlines school reopening protocols. Other stories, EC pilot new voters registration, and government task churches to establish COVID task forces. Star FM lead with EC undermining Ghana's democracy according to Ghana Federation of Labour. Also, Perez Chapel say we are closed until further notice. Other stories, Ashaman MP withdraws injunction application against EC, and Parliament will not shut down. This is according to the majority. Globally, US protests go on, but curfew curbs violence. And also, Italy reopens borders to Europe with no quarantine. Wow. Meanwhile, ibuprofen is tested as a coronavirus treatment. That's also on the BBC. CNN, protesters in US streets for 8th night in a row. Also, 200 protesters arrested in New York. National Guard fires pepper spray at protesters in DC. Up to 10,000 are protesting in Portland, Oregon. Other stories, unrest sets up battle for America's soul between Trump and Joe Biden. Guys, there's a lot of stories.
Bernard, there's one story in there that I will read later on.
Okay.
In fact, maybe I should start with that. But it's from the international space, but when we get there.
Okay, and then quickly from Nigeria. Nigeria records 241 new cases. COVID-19 is now 10,819. So they are nearing 11,000.
Yeah, well, interestingly, just a tip, Senegal had planned to reopen schools. They had announced it on the 20th of May. They were supposed to reopen Tuesday, June 2nd. And the period, they decided to just conduct a sample test of teachers. The number of positive cases they got, the president says we are not opening.
No school opening. Okay, talking of schools, big story.
Yeah, that's the big one. New
Institutes,
dates for exit examinations. So let me give you details of that story by Doreen Ando. Senior high schools reopened to final year students on June 22 for them to undergo 6 weeks of academic work up to July 31 this year. This is to enable them to prepare to write their final examination between August 3 and September 4 this year. The Minister of Education, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, has announced. The minister took his turn to further clarify the gradual easing of restrictions by the educational sector as announced by the president. Said second-year gold track students would also be in school for 6 weeks, starting from June 22 to July 31 before proceeding on vacation. the minister said. In the case of JHS final year students, they were going to be in school for academic work for 11 weeks, and that is from June 29 to September 11, before writing their WASI between September 14, their BCE, sorry, between September 14 and 18.
Okay.
Now, the government will provide 3 reusable nose masks for all final year students and staff of schools, which are expected to reopen this month. Now, for senior high schools, though, safety precautions included fumigation of all reopening facilities and reduction in the number of students in a class of 25 for SHS and 30 for JHS. All students in boarding schools will be in boarding, while all day schools will have enhanced daily health protocols. There are measures for class sizes as well. Religious activities will not happen on school compounds as well. Now, on
Neither will visiting.
Yes, neither are visiting. Now, on tertiary, he announced that arrangements had been made to welcome back into the country final year foreign students who left Ghana before the closure of borders.
Then there's an arrangement for a package for teachers in terms of money. Government, and this is GNA, government, as part of efforts to improve education, has instituted a new incentive for teachers and non-teaching staff, dubbed the Teacher Professional Allowance for their continuous professional development. As part of the allowance, every teacher is expected to receive an amount of 1,200 cedis, while the non-teaching staff would earn 600 for their career development. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, Minister for Education, speaking at a press briefing in Accra yesterday on government measures to ease restrictions, said government had approved critical support allowance for teachers and educational workers union members who have been left out for the last 8 years. The allowance is to be paid to staff of the service as an incentive for them to perform better. Anything else on education?
Yes, they are employing over 27,000 pre-tertiary teachers and others, according to the story on the Statesman, that is on page 2. And it says that the Education Ministry has been granted financial clearance to employ a total of 27,367 staff for the pre-tertiary sector. And according to the story, all arrears have also been paid for teachers who were recently engaged. So it looks like a lot of good
Then
news
there's a last
in the
one
sector.
here. This is my joy online. Nagrat say, protect us as we return to the classroom. President of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Angel Carbon, has highlighted the need to ensure the protection of teachers as they return to the classrooms. According to him, the move is critical in ensuring that the teachers are provided with a conducive environment to execute their mandate in the face of the novel coronavirus.
Well, let's get to the other big story. EC and its voter registration exercise. If you go to pages 12 and 13 of the Ghanaian Times, the stories are there. And this one, written by Claude Nyako Adams, reads, the EC yesterday conducted a pilot voter registration exercise in all 16 regional capitals in the country. According to the EC, the exercise was to identify problems associated with the new system, including its effect under various weather conditions, and find ways of mitigating them ahead of the voter register compilation later this month. Now, because of this, several other things have popped up.
Yes.
One, including Bernard Mona's
Yep.
encounter with the police. Again, Claude Nyako Adams has written this story. And it is the national chairman of the PNC, Bernard Mona, was yesterday granted a 20,000 cedi police inquiry bail following an invitation from the Criminal Investigations Department, CID of the Ghana Police. He's to report to any police regional command he finds himself every week. That's according to the PRO, Deputy Superintendent of Police, DSP Juliana Obing. And the investigation was over some pronouncements he allegedly made against the EC, which the police deemed to be a threat to the country's peace and security. In line with that, yesterday we saw a picture making the rounds on social media.
Yeah, before that, I think there's a couple more.
Yeah,
on
the MPP
Yes.
have also set a date for
No,
their
before that, I
primaries.
think on the EC, Christian Council urges dialogue over new electoral roll brouhaha before we come to the MPP. This story is on citynewsroom.com. Christian Council of Ghana wants the Electoral Commission to reach out to all relevant stakeholders before taking a final decision on the voters register. The council says the rancor between the EC and some opposition political parties over the new register is not the best. Chairman of the council, Dr. Paul Kwabena Boafo, in a City News interview, said the EC and the political parties must reach a compromise that will be in the best interest of Ghana. And now Nathan has the other one, Sami Jemfi, or
Jemfi.
somebody has in the news for.
Yes, Sami Jemfi is on page 3 of the Chronicle, and a section of social media users have accused the NDC's National Communications Officer Sami Gyamfi of showing a sign of insensitivity towards the black American George Floyd, who was cruelly murdered by a police officer. This follows his post on Twitter and Facebook of a cartoon imitating the globally condemned murder of the African American to illustrate the disregard of the Electoral Commission for opposing views on the compilation of a new voters' register. So the said image sees, something very similar to George Floyd or somebody being choked.
Yesterday I was watching CNN and they had George Floyd's 6-year-old daughter and the mother of his daughter talking. If you watch that thing, you don't cry. Even with Blitzer, his eyes were red. He couldn't. Charlie, it's terrible.
We need to practice a bit more maturity in our politics.
Yeah.
So
the story here that
Sarkodie
slammed Sami Gyamfi over George Floyd over voter register cartoon. Yeah, this story is actually the lead story on my Joy Online. It says, "Take it down." Sarkodie slams Sami Gyamfi over George Floyd. And story says, rapper Sarkodie is asking NDC's National Communications Officer Sami Gyamfi to take down a tweet about the voters register that references George Floyd's murder. The tweet was an illustration that sought to express how Sami Gyamfi, felt the EC and the government were handling the new voters register. And then the description. A man in a vest tagged voter was on the floor. EC chairperson had placed a heavy book, the new voters register, on the voter's neck and placed her knee on the victim's neck. And then they used the same "I can't breathe," I don't want to call it Monica or something. Then they also have somebody who looks like the president holding down the person. And so yeah, there you have it. So here's the tweet. Sarkodie says, "Nah, my brother, we all go wrong sometimes. I will believe your intention wasn't to joke with this serious and very sensitive issue, but you're still wrong. Just do what's right. Retract and take it down."
Yeah. Good call. Sami Gyamfi can get back on track. He's a solid guy.
Let's go to the MPP
Yesterday
now.
was a big one.
Let's go to the MPP.
MPP primaries for June 20, and that's on the front page of the Daily Statesman. And according to the story, which has details on page 2, following easing of restrictions that were placed on the country to contain the spread of the novel coronavirus pandemic, the steering committee of the NPP has settled on June 20 as the date to hold the party's parliamentary primaries. The Daily Statesman can report that the National Executive Committee of the party will meet today to affirm the decision. In view of the exigencies of the time, the delegates will vote in their various electoral areas as demarcated by the EC. This is to ensure strict adherence to the precautionary measures against the spread of the pandemic.
Well, if you go to other stories, if you go to the Finder, for example, on page 5, it says state seeks leave to acquire Wayome's properties to settle his debt. So the story reads, the state has filed an application at the Supreme Court seeking leave to acquire properties owned by Alfred Adesi Wayome, a businessman and a self-claimed financier of the NDC. The motion for leave of the court by the Attorney General is based on the fact that auctioneers were unable to sell the properties because of the fear they could be returned to him in case there was a change in government. The AG is therefore praying the court to have Wayome's property transferred to the National Security. Wayome owes the state about 47.2 million cedis, and the sale of his properties was to settle his indebtedness.
So, two stories on reopening of churches, citynewsroom.com, ICGC, other churches to continue online services despite ease restrictions. The President Akufo-Addo announced a partial easing of restrictions on public gatherings and religious activities imposed to prevent the spread of COVID-19 by these churches and mosques and schools had been asked to commence activities, but with particular requirements. Now, churches like the International Central Gospel Church, Spiritual Revival Ministries, Powerhouse Ministries International, and Perez Chapel have decided to continue having services online and have asked their members to remain home despite the president's directive. In separate statement, the churches have decided to remain closed until further notice. So, giving reasons for their decision, one of the churches, for example, Destiny Empowerment, said, "Remember, we are dealing with varied people with variegated backgrounds. Hence, you can never tell where someone is coming from nor what someone picked up on their way. This precaution must be taken." So, ICGC also sent out a statement. Keepers House sent out a statement. Powerhouse Ministry sent out a statement. So, a lot of the charismatic churches want to wait, even though the NAC said they would open. For example, let me read the ICGC one. Greetings to you. This is an official communication directive of reopening of ICGC assemblies. Greetings to you in the name of Jesus Christ. Presbytery of the Church has considered the directive issued by the government for the commencement of church service on 7 June. In line with this, the Presbytery hereby directs pastors and ICGC local assemblies to 1. Non-opening of ICGC churches. No ICGC local assembly should be open to run in-person church services until so advised by the Presbytery. 2. All ICGC local assemblies will continue to fellowship together on air and online, as we will join the general overseer on Sunday for services as we do for now. Lead pastors will continue to minister to their congregation through the online, on-air, and social media channels during the week. And then they also have other things they put in
And
place.
another angle to that you will find on page 2 of the Herald newspaper. They spoke to, there's a quote attributed to evangelist Dr. Lawrence Tete of the World Outreach Church, who called on government to review its guidelines to churches and mosques, saying many of the guidelines are ambiguous and thus require further dialogue and consensus with relevant stakeholders. Now, he was speaking to Francis Aban on the Morning Star program. He said most people who end up in advancing on some of these things are not as religious as some of us, and that is why everybody is needed. Most of the things there are not workable, and I've heard this morning, yesterday, that a lot of churches have even decided not to go back to church because they cannot adhere to the conditions that have been put out.
Okay, let's do other stories. There are a couple of stories on City Business I find interesting. Put measures in place to tax digital economy, a tax analyst to government, coming in from yesterday's City Business Festival. And the story is quoting Abdallah Ali Nachia, and it says tax analyst Dr. Abdallah Ali Nachia has suggested that GRA puts in place the necessary measures to tax digital businesses and their transactions going forward. He says this should enable the authority increase its revenue in order to meet or exceed revenue target. Now, we know that coronavirus has impacted government revenue as economic activities have gone down, and the Alhassan Ali Nachia was speaking on Reboot, which is a virtual business forum, and he says that the digital economy should reduce the burden on the regular businesses whose operations have been adversely impacted by the pandemic. Still on that website, there's another story about poultry people. Egg sellers in Bono region incur losses as COVID-19 slows down their patronage, and they call for support. Stories by Michael Sapong-Fum. Egg sellers in Sunyai and other parts of Bono say they are incurring losses as they are unable to sell much of their eggs due to challenges posed by COVID-19 pandemic. The sellers, who usually supply a chunk of the eggs in senior high schools and export some to neighboring countries, say they are not able to do so due to COVID-19 induced restrictions.
If you go to the front page of the Gold Street Business, it says the railway sector in Ghana has taken a bit of a hit because 70 workers have tested positive. So, Railways Development Minister Joe Gatti has revealed that ongoing rail construction, which should have been completed by August 2020, is on hold as over 70 railway construction workers have tested positive for coronavirus. The minister, who was speaking on the role of rail in multimodal connectivity and economic growth in Ghana, said the pandemic had significantly affected all rail projects across the country.
Now, there's also a rail-related story on the front page of the BNFT, and it's the same minister speaking. Joe Gatti says that the Eastern Rail route from Tema to Mpakadan is 60% complete. So let's be on the lookout for that. And then on the front page of the paper as well, petroleum products to increase less than 0.5% according to the NPA. Details are that the National Petroleum Authority has said that per its calculations, the directive to oil marketing companies to increase the bulk oil storage and transport margin on petroleum products from 3 pesos to 6 pesos effective June 1 will not increase the cost of petroleum products.
Let's do international. CNN, lots of stories. 200 protesters arrested in New York. National Guard fires pepper spray at protesters in D.C. Up to 10,000 demonstrators in Portland, Oregon. And the other stories, 1,600 active duty troops sent to Washington area after some governors turned down requests for National Guard. So the U.S. is really seething, if that's the word to use, as over 20 states have registered protests over the killing of George Floyd. In fact, it's even in Africa, in Kenya, we're told protesters rally outside the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi, and it's becoming more like a global response.
Yes, and also the Forum of Former Heads of State and Government of Africa has urged African countries to raise a strong protest to the killing and demand that the perpetrators of this crime and all other crimes of this sort be punished in the strongest terms. Released by former Benin President Nicéphore Soglo.
So it's a big one. And then, of course, the other stories globally have to do with
COVID.
Yes.
Yeah, let me give you the Senegal story I was talking about.
please.
On page 5 of the Daily Graphic, Senegal has postponed the restart of schools until further notice after several teachers tested positive for the coronavirus, the Education Ministry said on Monday. The government announced on May 20 that schools would gradually resume on Tuesday, June 2, after weeks of shutdown due to the pandemic. An Education Ministry statement said teachers tested positive for coronavirus in the Casamance area, south of the country. It did not say how many teachers tested positive nor in how many schools. It said Senegal's President Macky Sall decided to postpone the restart of classes until a later date in order to avoid any risk of the virus spreading.
There's an
in
interesting
schools.
case in South Africa we end with. It says South Africa lockdown rules unconstitutional. A South African court has found some coronavirus lockdown regulations imposed by the government as unconstitutional and invalid. The case was filed by a group, Liberty Fighters Network, and they challenged the response measures announced by the president. The High Court on Tuesday said the regulations are not rationally connected to the objectives of slowing the rate of infection or limiting the spread.
Well,
thereof.
here as well, just to wrap up, there's a quick conversation about the worship thing and the constitution.
Okay, we'll talk about that later. That was a newspaper review. Coming up next is the City Business News.
Do you want to bank safely from the comfort of your home or office? Then